You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I could be running or I'm chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive, life. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. But you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had my ways. Around your mind tricks and your side chicks, I'm a winner, babe. But you didn't win this, it's a part of the game. In the beginning I just didn't know that you're an enemy I held too close.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Vick, Victorious! Vick, Victorious!
Hey. Happy Friday, Junior, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Dr. Victorious. I am Dr. Vick, aka Dr. Victorious. I had showed somebody my tattoo on my arm. I don't know if I'll be able to show it to you good because the way it's on my arm, but my arm, I actually have a tattoo. It's upside down, y'all, but believe me, it says Dr. Victorious. Anyway, hope you all are doing well. We are ending or getting close to the end of summer, and I'm like, what happened? Because 5 minutes ago it was May, June, and now we finna head into fall. I don't understand. The way that time moves quickly still perplexes me, because when I was a child, a week took 10 days and now a week takes 3 days. I don't know what's going on. Somebody explain it to me. I don't get it. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here. We had a heat wave in LA, maybe last week or so. It's kind of starting to cool down. We had a little drizzle the other day and I got scared because y'all know when it's real hot and then it start raining, the earth's finna start moving. Something finna happen. My cat Mew Mew was meowing in here a little while ago, acting strange. And I was like, uh-oh, is something finna happen? Because the cats be knowing, the dogs be knowing. So I was concerned. But so far, we still on stable ground right now. But I did hear we're due for a big one. So everybody get your earthquake kits ready. Be ready for it. Hey, Cyrus, good to see you. Welcome. So as always, I'm going on about 5 different tangents, but we just saw an earthquake in Colombia happen. Very devastating. That footage looked like a movie. And just as it happened there, it could happen here. We are in Southern California, San Andreas fault and all these other faults around. Be careful, y'all. Like I said, it was hot, then it was raining. I'm like, whoa, I don't know. It's okay. All right, y'all. It is Black Business Month, and I want to talk about supporting Black businesses, something that's very important to me. And I will admit, I've kind of fell off a little bit on, and I want to pick back up on. And so we're going to talk about that and all the good things. I always forget to do my little intro. This podcast is where we explore the intersections of social justice, wellness, and what it means to show up fully human, especially from a Black perspective, because I am a Black American woman. a Black American cis woman. I'm not afraid of the word cis. It is what it is. I'm your host. Welcome. We're going to get into this scroll stroll, but actually before we do, I just posted something on Instagram. Listen, sometimes we are looking for things outside of ourselves, outside of our homes. Outside could mean any number of things. And my post was about clothes, but it could really go for anything. Validation, love, acceptance. Sometimes we look for those things external to ourselves, outside of ourselves. And I always, this thing about me looking for clothes reminded me, search at home first. Look within first. In my case, I was wanting some wide leg, colorful pattern pants. And I was searching on Poshmark and Whatnot app and all these places. And then it occurred to me, Nicole, look in the closet. And lo and behold, I found 3 pairs of wide leg, colorful pants for $3.99. They were already paid for. So again, whatever it is, always look first inside. You know how your mama used to say, I want to go to McDonald's. It's food at home. It's food at home. It's clothes at home. It's acceptance at home. Validation. It's at home. Start there before you go outside. So that's this week's word message of the week from Nicole D. Vick. Start first inside before you start looking outside for stuff, because guaranteed whatever you are looking for is inside the house, inside of yourself, inside of your heart, inside of your mind. Guaranteed you. All right, now we can go to the scroll stroll after I have done my sermon, my mini sermon of the week. The first one, listen. I thought Darius Cooks was gone somewhere. They had said he was finna open a restaurant in Bali, and I don't know. All I know is he done appeared in some video. He was crying, talking about he's a teacher in Houston, and the kids, these are seniors in high school, and the kids can't read. So apparently he's a substitute teacher or some sort of contract teacher. I don't know. He's teaching in the school. And he made this video and he's crying about the literacy crisis, apparently amongst our Black students, right? And I don't think anybody's denying the fact that there is a literacy crisis, right? And not even just Black children. Our children are not reading at the levels that they should be for their age group, and it's of concern. But as soon as that video went up, I started seeing people like, wait, this the same Darius Crooks? Because they used to call him Darius Crooks because of the scams and things that were happening with him. Like, what is happening? Why is he in the school teaching the kids? Why is he around children? People are questioning his credentials right now. People are really calling for him to be dismissed, because why are you talking about children? We know what school you're at because you were posting content this whole time. Like, and also, what do those kids think? They also have social media, access to social media, and they probably figured out who you are. Why are you talking about them? In fact, that they can't read. Some teachers were disputing, like, I actually taught those students that are now seniors, you're lying. Like, there's a lot of conversation around this. And it's really interesting to see. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what was the tears? It's been reposted on other social media accounts. They're kind of pushing this story forward. Really interesting thing. I don't know what to make of it. I do think we should be protecting our children at all costs. Our children are not content for social media for your, benefit for you to make money off of. I will say that. And so very troubling. We'll see what happens. But that came upon my feed, and I was troubled. I was very troubled by that. And the other part about it is there have been other educators, specifically Black educators over the years, that have been saying the same thing. And it didn't get picked up in the same way. But when he said it, it kind of got, blown up. And it was really interesting to see, because he's definitely not a career educator. So I don't know. That was interesting to me. The next one, child, I've been watching, I don't know Miss Rachel like that, because I don't have young children anymore. When Andrea was little, it was Sesame Street and Elmo. But all I know is I said, Lord, Miss Rachel done got radicalized. And I said, I'm all for it. This is what we need. So she's been posting things like Black children deserve to grow old. She's saying, Mississippi banned Sesame Street because they showed black kids playing with other kids of other races, and it, and there was some fact checking, and yes, it was true. And so I'm seeing a lot of her posts change. The tone of a lot of her posts over time, not just like yesterday, have definitely shifted. And I was like, who is what? Miss Rachel. But that's what you're supposed to do when you are in a position where you are the dominant race, the dominant culture. That's what you're supposed to do with your power and your privilege. You are supposed to speak out and speak up. So I'm not mad at her. She has increasingly used her platform to address social justice. She's known as Miss Rachel. She's used her platform to address social justice, racial bias, and global humanitarian issues. And she's gotten a lot of attention, both good and bad. Some people get upset when you say things like, I think Black children should be able to grow old. I think, for some reason, there's some people that don't like when people say things like that. And I feel like what happened recently is when Nolan Wells was killed, she asserted that racial bias played a role in what happened. And actually that whole Black boys deserve to grow up was in response to that. And so that's where this recent ooh, Miss Rachel, you better speak, you better talk it, you better say it. And so I appreciate it, and I'm sure others do as well. But there are some people that are not happy and think that she should just focus on, her entertainment thing for the little kids thing and not speak about these types of issues. I disagree. If little kids can experience racial segregation and discrimination and be killed and have racial undertones of that killing, then they also should hear about these types of things as well, social justice and anti-Black racism, how we deal with those types of things. They should hear about those things as well. So kudos to you, Ms. Rachel. You don't need my permission to continue, but carry on, do the thing, and speak, and continue to speak up. That's what it means to have a platform and to be able to use it for a good purpose. Last one, oldest daughters. Oh Lord, we be going through it. This one I saw on Threads. It said the weight of the world is different for eldest daughters. I don't know if y'all know I am an eldest daughter. I'm the firstborn of my family. I have a younger brother, 5 years younger than me, and of course, because we are different people, my brother and I, we have different lived experience in our household, even though we were in the same home. Maybe some similarities. We saw, I'm sure, some of the same things, but we might have taken them in differently. But I feel like eldest daughters have this sort of additional responsibility for some reason. I can't remember a story. Let me tell you a quick story before we go to commercial. My great-grandparents had apartment buildings that they owned. They helped build 5 units on the whole block. And by the time I came around, we had 2 of them, and the other owner had the last 3 on the other side. I remember I was living there at the time because, for us, it was a rite of passage. You get old enough to move out, you move into one of the apartments. Why not? And there's things to do there. Pay the trash bill. So the trash company comes to get the trash. And I remember one instance, I called my dad. I was like, hey, the trash, they didn't come pick up the trash. And he was like, yeah, because I didn't pay the bill. I said, why you didn't say nothing? And he said, oh, I figured you would figure it out. That's how they do oldest daughters. I figured you would figure it out. How was I going to figure it out if nobody told me the bill wasn't paid? How? I'm sitting here like the tenants are like, the trash bin is full. And I'm like, whoa. He literally said, I figured you would figure it out. That is an example of the weight of an oldest daughter. You are going to figure it out. Yeah, you take care of it. Huh? And there's other examples, but that's just one of them. I feel like we are often made to be responsible for a lot very early, and often worry and manage family things, dynamics, family issues very early on, and be hyper aware of them. And I think it does something to us by the time we get older, like, well, are you okay? And the answer is actually no. I'm not okay. All right, y'all. And I feel bad because my daughter is the oldest daughter. So I think she has taken on some of that as well. I'm very sorry, but I don't put stuff on her like that, to be fair. I know better. I know what it means. All right, y'all. We finna go to break and talk about Black Business Month. See you in a few minutes.
Hey, it's Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
The news is divided. Ground News puts it back together, with coverage from thousands of outlets around the world in one place. So you can spot sensational reporting, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. Beside every headline, you'll see who owns the source, how reliable it is, and if they have a political bias. Multiple perspectives side by side, giving you a well-rounded view of today's biggest stories. Visit ground.news to learn more.
This is Tammy from Tammy's Take, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
And we are back talking about August being Black Business Month. I really wanted to revisit this topic because, first of all, it's always important to shop local and shop Black. I used to do pop-up shops. I forgot what years those were, but I did them for quite a few years in my backyard. It was an inspiration. I was inspired by Fatima Runway Boutique and Neva Marie Designs. She was like, I used to do them in my house too. And so I said, well, if they could do it, I could do it. And so it was my way of really bringing Black women, in this case, Black women-owned businesses to the community. So it's something that I believe very strongly in. As I mentioned, the pandemic and me being injured, I wasn't going outside doing much of anything or buying, much other than groceries and stuff. So I really wasn't really shopping Black like I wanted to or intended to. So I'm like, let's revisit this. And also, I believe there was an incident that happened here in the U.S. I can't remember exactly where, but it put me in the mind of what happened to Latasha Harlins here in South Los Angeles in the early 90s, where Latasha Harlins was in a Asian-owned grocery store, little corner store, lots of them in the hood here in South LA. It's a couple of them on the main street by my house. You walk in, you pay for your stuff. Oftentimes the shop owner is behind this large plexiglass. This is a very interesting dynamic, right? And there's always this tension, unfortunately, between the Black community, the residents there, and the Asian store owners. And so what happened with Latasha was apparently there was an argument or disagreement about some orange juice. And she ended up getting shot and killed for that. And so there was something recently that happened along those same lines. And everybody was like, we are taking our dollars to our Black business owners. We are shopping Black as a response. And I appreciate that response, that people are being mindful of it. There was some pushback, right? Like, well, you should be shopping Black anyway. You should be thinking about that anyway. Why, when something happens, is this sort of this knee-jerk response? But I did see conversations on Facebook, in the Black Los Angeles Facebook group, for example, like, hey, I need a list of Black restaurants, Black nail salon owners, Black this, Black that. People were trying to be very, very intentional. And one of the things I was thinking about is like, what happens when we intentionally invest in one another? What happens? And me, I'm the public health person. What happens in our communities when we intentionally invest in one another, when our dollars stay in our community and are recycled in our community? Let's talk about it, right? So this is something that is not new to me, or just popped out of, let's talk about that. This is something that I've actually embodied with the pop-up shops, things I've paid attention to over the years. Now, one thing I will say, shopping Black is not new. I went to the Getty Museum this summer, and there was a Black arts movement, a photography, what kind of exhibit there. And there was art and photography from the 1950s, 60s, and on. And I remember seeing one photo, I had to have been from the 60s, and it was like shop black, buy from black businesses. And I'm like, we have been having this conversation for a while now, and we can even go before that. Booker T. Washington talked about economic self-help. Madam C.J. Walker, right? One of our renowned entrepreneurs, the pressing comb and all the hair products that she sold, and the women that she trained so that they could be self-sufficient and have an income. I think my great grandmother, side note, went to Madam C.J. Walker's beauty school when she embarked on her career, and she was a beautician and cosmetologist for a very long time. I have copies, actually, not even copies, boo boo. I have her original cosmetology licenses from the state of California. Black Wall Street, we all have heard about Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which ironically also my great grandmother lived during the time of when the whole Tulsa riots happened. We have had a long tradition of what we call cooperative economics. Hey, I make shea butter and you have avocados on your avocado tree. Can we trade? Can we, somehow work something out where you get what you need and I get what I need? And yeah, you can have this many avocados for this much shea butter. Cool, we good, right? Such an important thing for us to really think about staying and keeping our dollars in our community. So it's not a new thing, and it's part of a very, very long tradition that probably goes way back to our very early days in this country as Black Americans, even before that in the motherland, right? So, when you're in your community and you're spending your money at the grocery store, you're spending your money at a small business, what happens? If the business grows fast enough, they need to hire people to keep things moving. And if they are aware enough, they are hiring locally. That business owner now has built wealth. They're able to maybe buy their building, or they're able to acquire equipment. So they are generating wealth in their family. They are owning, right? As I said, ownership. Their tax base in the community goes up. So I don't know if people understand why tax base, and I probably won't explain it well, but if you know, certain communities spend or decide how much of the taxes that they pay for, like property tax, for example, or sales tax, goes to certain services. And so if there's a lot of economics, right, people are buying things, businesses are opening, you're generating money from sales tax, property tax, etc. And those things go to infrastructure, they go to services and other types of resources. And ultimately you can decide, we're going to build affordable housing in this community. We're going to provide vouchers for food. We're going to do all these things. And it creates a situation where the community is stable. Your schools are well funded. You have books and you have teachers. There's no shortage of things. And so it's like you're actually creating this really strong ecosystem or infrastructure in your community. If you are a public health person, you've heard the term the social determinants of health. And the social determinants of health are those things that are not health care, but have a huge impact on health. Think about it. If you can't afford your housing or your food, you don't have a job, you don't have access for transportation, those things aren't health care, but they do have an impact on your health and well-being. You can't get around, you can't afford housing. That causes a whole host of issues like stress. And when you have continued stress over time, your health starts to suffer. So when you live in a community where people are able to hire, people are able to afford their lives because they have jobs that pay well, like all of these things make a healthy community. So when we spend our dollars locally and amongst our community, Black folk, we can actually help to improve the community for everyone. Now, some people, going back to how they talk about Miss Rachel, like everybody, when she said Black boys deserve to grow old, people get mad about that. People sometimes get mad about when we say we want to shop Black. And it doesn't mean shop only Black. It means I'm going to make a concerted effort to support Black-owned businesses. We all know that in this country, and I'm sure in other countries, A lot of times Black folk do not get access to the necessary capital to start and maintain a business. It costs money to make money, right? You have to be able to put forth rent money, right, for the facility. Say you're opening a nail salon, because I love nails. You got to be able to pay the rent for the building. You got to be able to pay for the equipment. You got to be able to set up a pricing structure for your commission for your nail techs. You got to be able to vet them, hire them. You got to pay the water bill. You got to pay the electric bill. You got to pay Spotify for the music that comes into the facility. There's all these things, your point of sales, all that stuff, for when people are paying, you got to set all that stuff up. None of that is free, right? And so oftentimes, historically, we have not been able to have the type of access to capital to start businesses in the way that other people have access. We don't often have generational wealth. Auntie or grandpa ain't just finna hand you $100,000 to go start a thing, right? And so shopping Black often is a way to try to create an equitable way of supporting businesses in general and being really intentional about that. It's not about exclusion. It's actually intentional inclusion. I'm going to look for businesses that are Black owned and support them in their work, right? And it's making sure that Black entrepreneurs aren't invisible. And that's actually the point of Black Business Month, highlighting the work of Black business owners. And there are plenty of them in a number of spaces, and definitely something worth looking into, right? So a lot of things, because I was like, oh Lord, we about to go down this road, but we got to go down the road. A lot of times we can be our own worst enemy. Ooh, they cost more. They charge more. Ooh, they service was substandard. See, that's why I don't go to the Black owned businesses, because boo, 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 right? It becomes tiring. Let me tell you something. And I learned this from my friend Amber Osborne, who had a Black beauty supply, Black owned beauty supply. Sometimes the reason why Black owned businesses have to charge more is because they don't necessarily have the types of connections to vendors that other types of businesses have. Think about, let's use the beauty supply example. A lot of the products like the hair, the braiding hair, specifically the braiding hair, the weave hair, that stuff comes from China, okay, or other Asian countries. If you don't speak the language and don't have the relationship, oftentimes those vendors will not sell to you, or they will require you to have a higher, I forgot what the acronym is, but you have to purchase a minimum amount, right? You're buying wholesale. So you're not buying one packet of braid hair, each one by one, and putting them in the store. You're buying 1,000 pieces of packets of synthetic braiding hair, right? But that company might say you have to buy 5,000. We're not selling 1,000 packets of braiding hair. You have to buy a minimum 5,000. What if you don't have the money, or that you don't? So, or because you have to buy 5,000, it costs more, so you have to charge more for that braiding hair. Yes. Does that matter to the consumer? Probably not. They want the cheapest price. That's how it goes. I can get it on Amazon cheaper. I'm not coming over to this store. But once you understand, sometimes it becomes a little easier to be like, okay, I get it. Let me support, because hopefully the prices can start to go down. People argue about craftsmanship or professionalism. Hey, there's unprofessional businesses from other people as well. And I think oftentimes it's an opportunity to hopefully give feedback and show some grace a little bit, right? I mean, you don't want substandard service. You still want your service to be good, but maybe it's an opportunity to give feedback to that business so they can do better. Because ultimately, guess what happens? We're in a capitalistic society. If they have poor service, they won't be in business for long, and it'll kind of work itself out anyway, right? But it's important to do the best that you can to support. If it is too much for you and you need to be mindful of your budget, then do what you got to do. I think no one's arguing or forcing you to do something that you don't want to do, but just I'm trying to help you understand why sometimes things may cost more, or it might be a little bit more difficult to access, or to, when you interact with the Black business, like, well, dang, how come this costs more? That's why. Oftentimes the vendors will not work with them in the way that they work with other businesses. And so therefore those prices have to be a little bit higher. But you know what? Again, there's ways to really think about being smart about it. Maybe you only buy sometimes, or if you can't spend, share they opened up a new black owned beauty supply. I'm sharing this with you all so that people that can spend that money will be able to do it. Now, one of the other questions would be, okay, fine, I get it. You have sold me on the importance of supporting Black businesses, but how? Like, what can I do? One of the easiest things you can do, and I do this a lot because I'm on Instagram a lot, just scrolling, and I often come across, like I came across, there's a Black-owned water bottle company called Supplement. And I'm mad because I just bought a water bottle, but next time when I'm ready to buy one, I'll buy one from them. But guess what I can do? I can share it. I'll share it in my stories. People look at my stories more than they probably look at my main feed. And the reason why I know that is because I see the reactions, the hearts, the thumbs up, the comments that people leave. So don't underestimate the importance of sharing. Maybe you know someone that's in the market for a water bottle, share it. There's a company called Actively Black that sells Black-owned. It's a Black-owned company that sells activewear, and they have done a really good job of coming out with different sort of launches and different designs and stuff. Maybe you're in the market for that. Maybe you aren't. Maybe your friend is an activewear lover. Give them a gift card to Actively Black for their birthday. There's a Black-owned t-shirt company. She makes the cutest t-shirts with the most culturally like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. My friend just had a birthday in June, sent her a gift card to that store. There's ways to support beyond buying things. You can share, you can leave reviews, you can recommend them to other people, buy gift cards like I just suggested. When you are trying to hire a consultant for anything, make sure you hire a black consultant, or at least vet one, right? In your process, give them an opportunity to tell you and show you what they have and what they have to offer. If you are hosting an event, not a webinar, something in person, a training session, look for Black-owned food vendors, look for Black-owned trainers. And again, follow and engage on social media. Social media is so powerful these days in regards to getting the word out to people that may not have seen it before. But the minute you share it, oh, shoot, I didn't know blah, blah, blah was down the street. Yep, they sure are. And they are open for business. So just the small things can help a lot. So this going back to what I said earlier about how important it is to support these businesses, economic stability is a social determinant of health. Being able to afford your life creates safety, reduces stress. And I remember I just talked about how high stress or chronic stress can impact your health. You get sicker when your body is constantly under stress. Let me tell you, my Aura ring, this ring here, it takes sort of every so often during the day, it'll read my like blood pressure or whatever the thing do. I don't understand the technology that well. I was trying to understand it, not quite. But for a while, it was like your stress level is high. Something is stressing you. And it kind of scared me because I was like, I feel normal. Like, am I okay? And it was like your heart rate is up. Your body temperature is elevated. So think about that. And it was like, you need to think about restorative practices, things to relax so that your body can kind of come back down. So I was like, okay, let me go sit down somewhere and take a nap. I don't know. But think about if your body is constantly stressed out over time, it really affects your health. Oh, you have one? Yeah, you got to get one. They have different companies have them. Aura is one. They're subscription based. There's another one called RingCon. You just buy the ring outright, and you don't have to pay for a subscription. And then there's a couple other ones that are really cool. So yeah, I think I want to get one for my daughter too, so she can have one. Employment affects health. When you don't have a job and you can't pay your bills, I just said that, when you can't afford your life, stuff start happening. You start getting stressed out, and it affects your health over time. And so when we recycle our dollars in our community, and this business that I'm thinking about, in my mind starts to grow, oh, we need to hire more people. I know you've seen those video games where on your phone where the lady has a tomato farm and she's selling tomatoes, and as the demand grows, I got to hire more people to pick the tomatoes, to help sell the tomatoes. So those are jobs that are being created for people to be able to work, and then they can then afford their lives. They can pay for their housing. They can pay for their children's school stuff. They can afford all their medication. They can afford transportation, whether it be a car or public transportation. And it just helps to create stability in the person's family and in the greater community. And it is really, really important to think about it in those terms. And then I often say too, there's also something to be said about knowing who is making your stuff. Like I talk a lot about my neighbor. I didn't know she was a neighbor at the time until a little bit later. She literally lives on the next block over that makes my candles. She has a candle company, and I can say, hey, can you put a special label on this candle? She's like, yeah, what do you want it to say? And I'm like, boop, 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 and then boom. Can you go to Bath and Body Works and tell them to put a label on the candle? You cannot. You can't do that. Can you say, hey, can you drop off those candles? I'm in the wheelchair. I can't get outside, but I need them for something. And can you bring them over? And she literally lives down the street. She's like, yeah, okay. And she brings the candles down the street. Can Bath and Body Works bring your candles to you like that? No? Okay. So there's also that sense of community pride and community connection. My friend Vanessa that owned the coffee shop, I would buy coffee from her. And I think this was either during the pandemic or when I was in the wheelchair. I can't remember when. And I would buy it online. She would drop it off. Oh, I put your bag of coffee on the front porch. Or, when she had the coffee shop, she has since closed it, and she was selling art in the coffee shop. Maybe I want to buy it, but I can't afford to pay for it outright. Can I pay you in payments? Girl, yeah, it's fine. Give me $20 today and we just work it out. The gardener, he's not black, fair enough, but he cut the trees down in the back, and I'm like, well, here's this much in cash. I'm finna give you the rest of this in installments. Okay, yeah. Right? You can't do that at Ralph's or any of these big corporate. You just can't. So like this ability to have that connection and know that you're literally supporting a local business is like top tier. If we truly care about health equity, we should also care about economic equity. They are closely intertwined. You can't really separate them and pull them apart. So I'm just, a reminder, and we're going to take a break next week, but the week after I'm going to rerun an episode of some of my favorite Black business owners here in South Los Angeles, and you'll get to hear some of their experiences and the kind of support that they need. We're going to go to commercial break, and then we're going to close out. But yes, this is such an important topic and something so near and dear to my heart, and I hope you are encouraged to shop local, to shop Black. If you are not Black and you want to shop Latina or Latino, whatever it is, wherever your community it is, do that. But of course, because I'm Black, we're going to talk about shopping Black. But anyway, we're about to go to commercial, and then we're going to close out and see you in a bit.
Hey, how y'all doing? Real quick, this is Daryl Walter, host of the Daryl Walter Show. I know. And you are watching Pyro Media Network.
Bring it up.
All right, we're here at the doctor's note section of the episode, and I just really want to leave you with something reflective. Shopping Black isn't about being guilted into shopping Black, like, okay, we don't want that. We want you to shop Black joyfully with a happy heart and with a wallet full of cash, okay? And it isn't about proving anything, right? Like, okay, I'm doing this so I can, people can think that I'm this great person. It's about asking ourselves whether our values show up in our bank statements. Really, it's really about that. Like, if I say I'm about us as a culture and I love my people and I love my community, well, in what ways can you show that? And in one simple way is to really source out and look for our Black business owners. And let me say this too, something that came to mind. Shopping Black isn't just about, clothes or the nail salon or the hair salon. Your dentist, my dentist is Black. Seeking out maybe your primary care physician or your contractor or whatever, being intentional about those kinds of things matter as well. There's still a time and place in this country where, and I've seen it on threads, where nurses or doctors are telling stories about being discriminated against by patients. Like, I don't want that person touching me because they are non-Black and the doctor or the clinician is Black. Don't touch me. So people that are professionals that are Black are often deemed or regarded as less qualified. You all heard the statements about, well, if I walked on a plane and the pilot was Black, I would be worried. Why would you be worried? That Black pilot had to do double the work to prove that they were qualified because they were already assumed to not be. So actually, if I was going to do it, I would be happy. Oh, they done been through the fire 4 times. So, you know what I mean? So there's also other ways to really be mindful of who you support and how you support. If we say community matters, we got to think about where our money goes, because every dollar we spend helps shape someone's future. And it might very well be our own, especially in our own communities. I live in the Crenshaw district here in Los Angeles. I see empty storefronts. I see businesses that were once there, not there anymore. Now, there's a whole host of reasons. Maybe the rent went up, right? They don't have the same protections as like rent-controlled apartments that people live in. So commercial real estate is a little bit different. The owner could say, I'm raising the rent triple, but I can't afford that. And so then you have to close or find somewhere else to be. And so I'm starting to see those things happen in our communities, and it's really scary. So again, if we say our community matters, we got to think about where our money goes. And every dollar we spend help shape someone's future, including our own. All right, y'all. So thank you for watching. Yay! I will see you not next week. We're going dark next week, but the week after, I'm going to show you're going to see a rerun of a 3 Black business owners in South LA women that will be talking about their businesses. Anyway, so I hope you can take the time to watch that. In the meantime, you know where to find me. I have a beautiful, beautiful website, www.NicoleDVick.com. All sorts of things are there, including my books. I have books. Oh my gosh. Side note, I haven't told y'all this, and maybe I'll tell you soon, but I'm working on a book proposal for book number, I guess this technically book number 3. As far as sole author, but 4 as far as like contributing author. Anyway, check the website out for that. I'm also on social media. Oh, my books, Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson, Push Through, 52 Weeks of Light in Tough Times. And the latest one is Triumph in the Trenches. It's an anthology, 22 other authors talking about how to survive the workforce as a Black person, how to survive work as Black people. Which is, that's a whole nother conversation. I'm also on social media. I'm on LinkedIn the most consistently. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm usually posting something because I see a lot. Listen, check my last post out about how me being at the Jill Scott concert, I was able to see public health at the Jill Scott concert by looking at the backup singers. Check that out. I'm also on Instagram. Dr. VICKtorious is the more professional Instagram, the Nicole D. Vick, Dr. Vick side of Instagram. And then Nicole D. Vick is like, hey, I have wide leg pants. That's that side of Nicole. All right, y'all. Oh, and the Substack is coming really soon. You'll hear more about that. I'm going to start writing on Substack. So you'll see that soon. All right, y'all. I'll see you in a couple weeks. You all take care. And until then, bye.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.